Kentic provides cloud and NetOps teams with complete visibility into hybrid and multi-cloud networks, ensure an amazing customer experience, reduce cloud and network costs, and optimize performance at scale, from internet to data center to container to cloud. Learn how you can get control of complex cloud networks at www.kentic.com and see why companies like Zoom, Twitch, New Relic, Box, eBay, Viasat, GoDaddy, Booking.com, and many, many more choose Kentic as their network observability platform.
Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS, the podcast. This week is RSA in San Francisco, so I'll be haunting the expo hall at some point. If you're in town, say hello. And of course, the Last Week in AWS job board, which you can find at lastweek@aws.com, continues to thrive. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get into it. Amazon Chime SDK updates service level agreement. It's always neat to see SLA updates just to see what services about which AWS is willing to put its money and its mouth together. Amazon Code Whisperer is now generally available. GitHub Copilot Worse is now available for your usage. Individual tier is free, authenticated through Builder ID. Professional tier is $19 a month per user, authenticated through IAM Identity Center users. I like the model, I just don't like the actual product compared to the competition. Amazon Connect now enables agents to handle voice calls, chats, and tasks concurrently. Just what you want as a customer, the agent assisting you to be massively multitasking. Amazon EC2 Serial Console is now available on EC2 bare metal instances. These two features have been out for years now. Finally, we're at a point where the bare metal experience is on par with what it was decades ago in our data centers. Amazon RDS for MySQL now supports up to 15 read replica for RDS multi-AZ deployment option with 2 readable standby database instances. Amazon RDS Read Everywhere was what they should have called this monstrosity. AWS Graviton 2-based Amazon EC2 instances are now available in additional regions, and this is one of my problems with AWS. If I want to figure out if a particular Graviton 2 instance is available in a given region, I have to string together a whole mess of blog posts like this one, going back through time to the original EC2 instance launch, or else try to spin one up and see if it works or not. AWS Ground Station now supports wideband digital intermediate frequency. I'm not saying the Ground Station is a service for a very limited subset of customers, but I also kind of think this update could have been sent to a group chat somewhere. AWS Lambda adds support for Node.js 18 in the AWS GovCloud regions. If I ever find the technology has outpaced me, I'm going to start working on GovCloud to buy myself 10 years of figuring out what I want to do next as the state of the art in that environment catches up with today's present state. Introducing AWS Lambda Response Streaming, which opens up a lot of fascinating use cases as well as improving the perceived latency of Lambda-based applications. Understanding DynamoDB latency. I was under the impression that DynamoDB latency was caused by you being a jackhole and not predicting your usage patterns in advance and building a single table design pattern in the first place. That's certainly been the tone of previous content in this space.
Do you wish your developers had less permanent access to AWS? Has the complexity of Amazon's reference architecture for temporary elevated access caused you to sob uncontrollably? With SIM, you can protect your cloud infrastructure with customizable, just-in-time access workflows that can be set up in minutes. By automating the access request lifecycle, SIM helps you reduce the scope of default access while keeping your developers moving quickly. Say goodbye to your cloud access woes with SIM. Go to simops.com/Corey to learn more. That's symops.com/Corey.
Announcing new tools for building with generative AI on AWS. This is exactly the type of announcement I would expect from AWS in the generative AI space. A bunch of plumbings for the folks who will get the headlines, margins, and attention we'll use to build their offerings. AWS is becoming this generation's Tier 1 backbone provider. AWS now supports credentials fetcher for GMSA on Amazon Linux 2023. Oh God, if you're pairing Linux instances to a Microsoft Active Directory in your environment, can you do me a favor and reach out and let me know what you're up to? Because I'm having a very hard time picturing the use case, which tells me I need to talk to a few more of you folks. AWS investment in South Africa results in economic ripple effect. Yet another example of an AWS region costing many billions of dollars to build and run. I don't think that most of us who've worked in data centers ourselves can really appreciate just what scale AWS is operating at here. New global AWS data processing addendum. A new addendum that's legalese for, oh God, please do not regulate us into oblivion to the governments of the world. And finally, 15 cool things we found inside the Spheres, Amazon's urban rainforest in downtown Seattle. Now, I'm guessing they found 4 more AWS services that run containers, an L9 employee, and 2 more awkwardly phrased leadership principles. What do you think they found? Reach out. Let me know. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn. Onward we go.